Hello there, good morning everybody. Welcome to another Kerfuffle Spotlight here. Delighted today to have Jack Ray. Hi Jack.
Hi Simon, how you doing?
You good? You good? Good. Billing better. Fantastic. It all matches up on screen with the information I've got with me as well. So that's great. That's a good start.
Wonderful.
Now, I will apologise. I'm a bit ring rusty. I've been away on holiday, as you can see. I'm trying to do my mini David Bellamy routine, which isn't working particularly well. So don't worry. If I can be any less amateurish than I normally am, it'll be a surprise. But we'll try and at least focus on you keeping it professional for us. Okay.
Great stuff.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You're the CEO, you're the founder of Billing Better. Just give us a. I think there's a clue in the name, but give us an idea of what you do and how you help agents.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so a number of years ago now, I was at university and I lived in a house where there was 10 of us in the house, and we were told by the landlord that we had all the bills included in the property. So we were kind of happy and good as gold throughout our tenancy. And then at the end of a tenancy, we had an issue where the landlord said that actually that they weren't paying for the bills, and it was us who needed to pay. So we were landed with this £2,500 bill, and we didn't really know what was happening with it. And I felt at that point that there was something that can be done to help tenants, and not just students, professionals moving into their first homes with bills. There's a lot of noise around comparing and being on the best supplier, but it's also about providing a service where there's not sort of 7 or 8 different suppliers that you have to go to. So we began to kind of work on this project that enabled you to have one point of contact, one customer services team, and all of the bills under one roof and one monthly payment. So we started the company 4 years ago, and we're now working with about 350 letting agents, and we're working with tenants who are students, young professionals, normal professionals as well, and the idea is really to have to help people to when they move in to either be on the best deal for their bills via a comparison site, or our bread and butter is to bring all the bills under one roof, have one monthly payment and one customer services team. So that's hopefully a nice little summary.
So how many times do we hear that story? Essentially, a young one style household led to this innovative, obviously creation of a business there. So that's great to see that you weren't doing what I was doing at university, which was just completely wasting my time. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And I can obviously see where there was a genuine sort of need on the back of that. That's a great. Obviously, you've got a great. Got a great burgeoning client base there. What would you say to those lettings agents that haven't been aware of you at the moment, might not have seen the full value? How are you really able to help them, do you think, in terms of the service you provide?
Yeah, I think it's twofold, and I think the first part is really kind of touching on it again. It's about helping the tenants as they move in to have the right options for what they need to do with their bills. We've seen lots of horror stories where tenants didn't know that they had to set up a certain bill and then get lumped with a large bill a few months down the line that they just didn't realize that they were going to have to pay for it. So where we're different from a tenant's perspective is we're offering the bundle service where you can condense all the bills into one monthly payment, but we're also offering a comparison site now for tenants where they can find the best deal for their energy and their internet and TV. But we're also telling them, look, unless you're a student, you're going to have to pay council tax. And this is the council that you need to go to. Here's their contact details. Same with information about TV license, water. So it's about kind of, from a tenant's perspective anyway, it's about giving them that option for, right, I know I'm going to need to do these things, and here's my options for how I'm going to do that. And then the other side of it, so from a letting agent's perspective, we know that there's lots of letting agents spending hours on the phone, sending lots of emails to suppliers to try to get accurate bills sent through, to try and get meter readings sent through. So what we've created is one portal and one login where they can go in, they can submit properties through to us. We find out who the existing suppliers are. So if the tenants have switched to another supplier, we'll tell them, look, this is who the supplier is right now. And we communicate with those suppliers to let them know if there's a change in occupancy or if there's a void period, to try to make that one place to go to, rather than, if you're managing 150 properties, you could be dealing with 150 to 300 suppliers if you're doing that. So it's about one place that does all the work for you, really.
Well, you don't have to convince me on having one place to sort everything out. That, loosely speaking, is what I try to do at Kerfuffle. I can absolutely see the value there of kind of bringing all those payments into one. Is there ever any sort of kickback? Do people feel nervous about potentially that they're losing control, having that all brought together, or do you have to just do you have to convince them of the benefits?
Yeah, 100%. There's a real skepticism around the suppliers that tenants are paying. I don't think there's any way of getting around that, and I think that's a battle that we're having along with other companies to try to kind of redeem some of the faith that tenants and homeowners as well have felt with suppliers by losing trust over a long period of time, way before us. So yes, 100%. There is a need to build that trust back up for the tenants, and we're trying to do that, and we're trying to be, everything that we're doing is about transparency and giving the tenants a login to view their payments and where their money's going to, whether it's going to, or how much of it is going to the water supplier, the council tax supplier, but as well as, seeing energy usage, seeing that broken down. The units that are used, they are quite confusing for anyone to know what, you could all of a sudden be given a large bill having paid the same amount for a long period of time. The vast majority of people, unless they're really kind of drilling into it, don't understand why that is. So for us, we've done things like we've built in usage notifications. So if a tenant is 1 month using way more energy than they should be for that month in the year, then we're notifying them saying, look, hi guys, we can see you're using too much energy this month compared to what you should be. Have you thought about doing this, this, and this to reduce your usage before your bill goes up? So it's all of
that's a really nice feature, isn't it? I mean, that's the sort of thing that consumers want these days. They're getting very used to, many of them are seeing things like the digitals, what do they call them, the temperature readings and things like that. And more and more, they want to have that feedback mechanism, don't they? So that, as you said, they don't get hit with that huge bill that obviously they just weren't expecting quarterly or whatever else.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So in terms of, I mean, that's a really great benefit, and I guess as well as the brand builds and everything else, just the confidence grows with obviously being able to deal with a company such as yourself.
I think so. Yeah, I think that obviously any aspiring business wants to be a household name at some point, and we would love to. We're striving towards that, and it is in our industry. It's about trust. It's about transparency, and it's about using a company that are on your side rather than not. So we're sat in the middle of that, trying to pick the best suppliers, get the right prices, never putting people on out of contract tariffs or anything like that. So it's about gradually, one step at a time, building that trust.
So is it a minefield, Jack? Is it, do you have to be really, really careful in terms of those supply relationships that you pick up, or on the whole are they all? I don't want to say commoditized and much of a muchness. Is there much variance?
So we have to choose the suppliers correctly in terms of the ones that we want to work with. For example, with internet, we only work with suppliers who offer 24/7 customer services. Because we want our tenants, there's going to be some who are up at 3 AM doing whatever they're doing, gaming, whatever that is. And we want them, if it goes out, we want them to be able to ring someone and get it sorted. So we have quite high expectations for that. Likewise, we only want to work with energy suppliers who are offering renewable tariffs as well. And then, yeah, the rest of it, to be honest, with water, with council tax, with TV licensing, these are companies who, you know, they have their processes in place, and they all have different processes that they work by, which is difficult. So for us, we've built lots of technology to be able to kind of receive lots of different information from different systems and bring it into one simplified space, really.
So you're a utility management platform, but do you see, obviously tech underpins a lot of this? Do you see yourself as a prop tech, or do you steer away from that? Where do you place yourself in that particular bun fight?
Well, one of my colleagues will be watching this downstairs at the moment, and he'll be begging me not to say that we're a tech platform. But yeah, I mean, I think
every agent has suddenly started saying they hate prop techs.
yeah, probably. I think we sit somewhere in the middle. Like, there's no denying the fact that we've built a lot of technology to try and deal with some of the things that aren't great in the industry. And we're trying to, like I said, with the energy usage and that kind of stuff, it is quite specific to the needs that we feel that our customers have. But at the same time, we are also providing a software service as well for the agents in regards to the notifications that we do for them to the suppliers and finding out who those suppliers are. So I would say yes, we are a prop tech, but yeah, I suppose we're also verging a little bit on fintech as well with what we're doing with paying suppliers. Yeah, so
you've doubled down on it. You've doubled down on it. Yeah, I mean, there is always a lot of crossover, isn't there? And there's a natural blend there with solutions like yours. Yeah, I can see that. So you touched on a couple of areas there. How do agents sell this benefit back to their own tenants? How are you able to help those tenants?
Yeah, okay. So we provide agents with, as I said before, one portal that they can log into, and the idea is this portal can do lots of different things for them, and to kind of break it down into three areas. The first is we give agents the ability to submit a new property to us at the start of a tenancy, and we find out who the existing suppliers are, and we give their tenants these options for how they can set up their bills. Regardless of what the tenants then do, we will send the agent a report to say we've contacted, you know, British Gas, Thames Water, and Camden Council. Here's what we've said to them, and here's a report to show what's been done. So that's kind of point one. That's our bread and butter, which is helping the agents to notify the suppliers while simultaneously giving the tenants this nice onboarding journey of, you can do a bills package, you can do a comparison, or you can just do nothing. And these are your existing suppliers if you want to go direct to them. So that's kind of point one. And as I say, it's our kind of core bread and butter. The second is being able to kind of push the bundles, or the bills packages and bundle. I say both things all the time, but they're the same thing. It's a bills package. Being able to push that directly to the tenants, and we have agents who do that because of the commercial side to it, where they can earn a monthly revenue from us. We give within the portal that we offer. We create a landing page for each of our clients with their logo, their colours, and they can then share that landing page with their tenants to kind of encourage them to sign up to the bundle. And then the last one is we work with a lot of clients now who are offering their properties with bills included, and you know, whether that's kind of HMOs, serviced accommodation. So the portal also allows those clients to have one place to manage all of their bills when they are paying for the bills as well, and that is quite a large part of what we do as well.
Okay, and that's really helpful to understand that. Now, clearly there are other, obviously, utility bill services out there. How are you able to separate yourself out away from them? Where do you see you put a bit of distance between the other providers?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, from the bills packages perspective, there are a few companies similar to us who are predominantly focusing on students. Which is a big part of what we do with direct business. Where we're trying to be different is we're trying to slot into the journey for a new tenancy. So we want to be at the forefront of every single new tenancy, so that the tenants have these three great options for the bills package, or the comparison site, or just knowing who their suppliers are. So whereas you compare the market, you switch, they're just focusing on comparison. You've got companies like Glide, Split the Bills, Huddle, who are just focusing on the bills packages. And then we're a bit of a hybrid in between, because we think that, if we're going for the mass market with letting agents, we know that there's going to be some tenants who want to find the best deal, and there's going to be some tenants who want the convenience of it all in one place. So by offering both, we think that we're kind of sitting quite nicely for the tenants to have that transparency of both options for them.
Excellent. And I mean, you're obviously just doing a bit of a shout out here as well. You're obviously doing a great job for Preston Baker, a great agent, obviously up in around Leeds and Yorkshire and York. Flexible proposition that was designed for our marketplace. Jack and the team are really accommodating. The wonderful SJ Taylor comments. That's lovely to hear.
Yeah.
So just echoing that then. So why billing better? Why now?
I think it's kind of touching on what SJ has very kindly said there. I think it is about flexibility. So we know that there's, different types of agents out there who do different things and want different things from their providers, and we're very open to being flexible to fit within their needs. We've built something that ultimately does, we think, almost everything from a utilities perspective. And like I kind of was touching on a moment ago, whether that's just wanting to give your tenants something extra with bills because they're getting asked about bills often, whether that's being able to be at a viewing and pull up our website and get a quote for the bundle for how much the bills are, showing council tax prices, showing water prices, or whether it's, I'm a landlord, or I'm an agent that's managing properties with bills included, then they themselves are effectively, if they don't manage it in a way similar to us, they've got 50 properties with 50 energy suppliers, 50 water suppliers, 50 internet contracts. Bring that to us and you have one place, one point of contact for everything. So ultimately, it's about being flexible whilst being quite specific in terms of what we can do. So we think that, like as SJ said, we think that we can kind of tailor our platform to most clients in the way that they would need to use it. And hopefully that's echoed across more agents.
Cool. And that flexibility, does that mean that you genuinely, you are looking to target all size of agents, or many businesses do have a specific ideal kind of client there? You feel that you've got the scope and flexibility in the product that really allows everyone on board, yeah?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. And that is quite a dangerous thing to say, I think. But I think that, ultimately what we've built caters for a standard type of tenancy or something slightly different. So yes, I would say that whether it's a large agent with many branches, or whether it's an independent, the process for us is flexible enough to work for both.
Don't worry, they'll police it. Positive reviews, reviews. It goes both ways. So, what would you give? Is there a sort of a standard time for onboarding? Is there advice that you can give to agents when they're thinking about coming on board? Is there stuff that they can do that helps that whole process work just more seamlessly?
Yeah. So from an onboarding perspective, depending on the size of the client, we do before COVID, we were doing attending training events in branches with teams, and very happy to do that, even if we now have to kind of move that over to Zoom or whichever platform it's going to be. So we look to kind of the first part of the onboarding is to just really understand the client's needs, to understand what part of our platform they're going to want to use. Then we go into more detailed training with the platform to show the client exactly what they'd need to do for their use case. And then if they have teams, and then we can look to do more specific training with those teams. From an agent's perspective, they may have different people touching this at different points of the tenancy. So it's about kind of making sure that everyone knows where they fit in, whether it's the guys who are doing the inventories, submitting meter readings to us, to the guys who are selling the packages and knowing what to do with them. So, although those packages, so it's about, initially understanding the client's needs, and then over the following 2 meetings that we typically have, it's then about making sure that the teams know exactly what they need to do.
And you've got a lot of moving parts here, haven't you? Does that mean that you are looking to do integration with other partners? That they can help out on this? Does it just work solely as a standalone product? What do you do in terms of that? In terms of integrations?
Yeah, so we work with a handful of partners that we integrate with, referencing companies, property management software. And what we want to do is to embed our platform into those types of partners, so that the agents don't actually need to do anything when it comes to ticking a box. Firstly, to say, yes, I want to use Billing Better. But once they've ticked that box, for Billing Better to become part of every new tenancy seamlessly. So we see that as the kind of the catalyst for growth from a business perspective.
So you want to build that into the journey, essentially, that they go through. Exactly. There, Billing Better is just part of that. Obviously, there once they've indicated they want to do business with you.
Exactly. Yeah. So ultimately, we want every new tenancy to come on board as part of our onboarding platform for tenants, where they get the 3 choices for the bundle, the comparison, or doing it themselves. But also, those suppliers are notified of the change in occupancy, and we want that to happen automatically. If you use our platform standalone and you don't use it as part of an integration, it's a very quick process to do that for every new tenancy. It will take you less than 2 minutes for each new tenancy. However, we know that sometimes 2 minutes is too long, and it needs to even be, they don't really need to do anything, and that's what we've achieved with some of our partners. And that's, I think, where we're going to look to grow further, to plug in with as many of these partners as possible, to make sure that the letting agents don't have too many different logins for different things, which I think is a common
single sign on. It seems to be a repetitive theme I get on these shows and panels, obviously both from agents and suppliers. It does seem to be the holy grail, doesn't it, that people are looking for. I think everyone understands you're going to have multiple different systems, but just that ability to be a bit more joined up is where people want to go to, because they don't understand why they don't have multiple sign-ins on their phone, do they? They want to experience the same on their desktop with their partners, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're all striving for the same thing, aren't we? To make it
an easy life.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Yeah.
What do your best agents do, Jack, in terms of when they're pitching for the business with the tenants and everything else? What approach works best for those sort of outlier agents for you, the ones that do best?
So I think from an agent's perspective, they will have been asked many, many times, how much are the bills at this property when they're doing viewings? Yeah. And that's a very difficult question to answer if you're not with the different council tax bands and the different energy prices, water prices. So by having our platform, they are able to instantly, within about 30 seconds, get a quote for a property. So we have some clients who are pre-viewings, printing off a quote for our packages, and then they're able to say, look, if you take this package with gas, electric, water, internet, council tax, then it's going to be this much. If you take this one with Sky TV, it's going to be this much. And they're then kind of plugging that mindset into the tenants at viewing stage. But I think it's really important to do that, not just from a selling perspective, but as a tenant, then knowing how far their budget can go. For example, in some areas of London, the council tax is really, really cheap compared to others. And I don't think all tenants will necessarily know that going to a property. So I think it can help from a selling perspective, and giving tenants that kind of bigger picture for the price.
So is that stopping them overextending themselves then, essentially?
I think so. Yeah, and I think it can work the other way as well. People, that they may have a budget in mind for their bills, and if they're able to see that it's coming out less than that, then great, because they have that confidence then to kind of potentially go for that property more than otherwise.
Well, that's just delivering on that classic claim, isn't it, of giving more transparency, being more knowledgeable, isn't it? That's ultimately why they're coming to the agents in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And we've done a lot of work in terms of pulling together a database of all the council tax providers, all the water providers, and being able to get accurate pricing for those suppliers. So we know that accuracy is key in this sense to make sure that the tenants know exactly what they're going to be paying, and they can, as I say, hopefully there may be times where that can be used to actually enhance the opportunity to let a property, which would be great.
Great. And you discussed HMO earlier. Just talk to us in a little bit more detail. I think you said that was quite a bit of your business at the moment. So talk us through how that's so important.
Yeah, so we work with quite a few HMO landlords, agents, rent-to-rent companies, and the idea is that they at the moment are managing X amount of properties, and they're managing all of the gas and electricity, all the water, all the internet, all the council tax. And what often will happen is they'll take the properties on at different times, so they'll have different contract start dates, different contract end dates. They could be paying, and a lot of the time they are paying more than they need to for internet and for energy. So with us, not only do you kind of get the one place for everything, the one monthly invoice for all the bills and all the properties, but you also get knowledge and comfort in knowing that you're never going to go into out of contract prices. You'll be able to see effectively a fixed monthly payment for the bills, and what your figures are ultimately. It's about giving them that one place to go into, and to deal with it all, and having this single point of contact for everything. So we work with, whether it's student HMOs or professionals, we have them all over the place. These clients who are managing anything from sort of 5 and 10 up to in the low hundreds, to be honest, of properties.
So what's interesting there is you mentioned a couple of groups, and we can both say, because we both were them, and I think it is fair to say us students are a pain in the arse.
Yes.
You're dealing with what sometimes are seen as high maintenance there, but you're actually taking that away from being an issue for the agents, whereas
exactly.
So that's a real positive there. And obviously, given the increased numbers of people normally with students there, the opportunity does arise. So can you give us any sort of flavour on the revenue stream abilities for your agents? Can you quantify that out, what some of your guys do?
Yeah, sure. So with regards to the two products that we offer that are our products, if you like, I've touched on the three, if you like, the package, the comparison, and then the tenants doing it themselves with the existing suppliers. But from a bundle perspective, an agent can earn anything from £10 to £20 per property per month. Okay. So it's reasonable amounts there that can be earned.
Really leverage up, can't it? If you work on that over time, that becomes does that stay for the entire tenancy?
Yeah, for as long as they're using our service. So it's if the tenants go on to a periodic tenancy afterwards, or if they extend and they stay with us, it just stays for as long as they're using our service. And it can, yes, it's a good amount of money, but where I think it becomes more exciting for agents is that that's one property, and if they get 10, 20, 30, 40 properties using it, it's a salary. It's a salary for a member of staff. So there's that from the bundle perspective, and then from the comparison side, everyone knows that comparison sites are able to earn commission from those suppliers that are being switched to. We offer 50% of that commission back to the agent. So you know that can range, but ultimately it's a one-off payment. So for example, if Sky TV if someone were to switch to Sky TV and internet, we might get £100 for that, and then £50 would go back to the agent as a one-off. So yeah,
you're literally sharing in the rewards there, straight down the middle with the agent. That's fantastic. You mentioned the out of contract element there. Can that be quite scary, that differential when it bounces into the out of contract prices? Is that something that, you know, especially for people who really can't afford to have that happen? Is that something to really look out for?
I think it's two things. I think firstly it's a kind of internal anxiety of knowing that your packages are going to be going out of contract at some point, not always knowing when that's going to be, and not always knowing what the price increase is going to be. So first off, we're just removing that anxiety completely.
That's great.
But secondly, yes, so typically an internet contract will go up anywhere from sort of 20 to 40%. It's quite high at the end of a contract. So you could be paying £30 a month, and then all of a sudden you're paying £40 a month, and across, you know, numerous properties, that is adding up to a good amount of money. So and
it's unfair on the agents, as it so often is, isn't it? But if a tenant saw that spike suddenly, I'm imagining there's a good proportion of those that will think, what have I been missold here, or something like that. So again, you're just mitigating that, aren't you? Again, just avoiding having to have any kind of those difficult questions, or indeed, you know, where they haven't even been able to control it, and they go onto the likes of all agents and start critiquing them there, obviously for being money grabbing or whatever else.
Exactly. I think that's one of the things that we sit in the middle of the supplier and the end user, and what we're trying to do by sitting in the middle is to highlight these problems that tenants and agents are having, and do everything within our power to just mitigate and remove those issues. We're not going to do all of it. We're not saying we're going to solve every problem, but we're certainly trying to harness the relationships with the suppliers to ensure that, you know, we have the best case scenario in as many scenarios as possible. And energy and internet with price rises is a great example of that, I think.
Yeah. How long does it take somebody to get on board with you? If they talk to you, they obviously have the online Zoom meeting where they talk through the process. Is it a relatively quick onboarding system? Yeah.
So in terms of getting on board with the platform itself, it's very quick. We have the process in place where we can add an agent in a matter of minutes. So that's great. And they can then begin offering the service to their tenants straight away. From a bills included perspective with the HMOs, it will take a few weeks to get completely up and running. That's because of internet install dates. It's because of switching an energy supplier will take 21 days as standard. So you know, that is going to happen. But it's normally for the bills included, it's normally within sort of 2 or 3 weeks that everything is up and running and operational. And then as I say, so I mean, but in terms of actually getting onto the portal and submitting new tenancies, that's a very quick process. Like I said earlier, it's about making sure that the right members of the team know exactly how to use it for their certain circumstances. So we do an initial call to understand the client's needs. We do a further call to hone in on their needs within the platform. And then we do any further training with the staff that's needed. And that's just how we do it, yeah.
And support is accessible for everyone if they need it?
Yeah, so we have for tenants, we have customer support Monday to Sunday every day, 8 till 8. And then for agents, we have a team where the phone dials into the office for agents Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And when an agent signs up with us, they'll have an onboarding manager who will get them up and running, and then a point of contact after that if they need it, if they have any issues. And yeah, it's
excellent. Cool. And what's new for Billing Better? Have you got things on the agenda? We've spoken a little bit about obviously where you very much see the future going with integrations. Anything else though on the exciting on the Billing Better roadmap?
Yeah, so we're actually about to launch our own broadband solution within the next day or so, which is really exciting because it's a next day broadband solution. So as a tenant, probably one of the most frustrating things is moving in and then having to wait for internet to be installed. Some suppliers.
Tell me about that. I've been away for data for the last week on holiday, and I almost had a breakdown. So I can understand that. So it does exactly what it says on the tin. Then literally the next day they have that ability.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take it offline and ask how the hell you managed to get that level of performance. I can't even get Virgin to sort out my stuff here over a matter of weeks. But you have more pull in it.
Yeah, I mean, it is another one of these classics where we're trying to sort of work out a way to deal with what there is out there, whilst bringing a little bit of something new in to kind of solve the problem. So, internet Virgin, for example, if you live in an area where you've had Virgin before, you should be getting Virgin within 3 or 4 working days, which is good. But most other suppliers, Sky, TalkTalk, BT, they all work off the Openreach network, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to be waiting at least 10 working days. Yeah. So what we've been able to do is source a router that accepts both standard broadband, but also an unlimited data SIM card. So what we do is we send the router out the next day with an unlimited data SIM card. You plug that into a 3-pin wall plug, and then you have internet straight away. In the meantime, we've already ordered the broadband with Openreach, and then you would get fibre broadband between 5 and 10 working days, and it's just a case of us letting you know when that's ready to plug the lead in that's in the box. So it's not, I suppose, it's not next day broadband in regards to you have fibre broadband the next day, but you do have broadband. You're up and running.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's really good. So I can imagine that would be attractive.
I hope so, and we think that particularly where there's quick turnarounds in these tenancies, and where the tenants, they're working professionals and they're working from home and they need something. We think that this is potentially, a bit of a game changer in that regard, to just being able to take it, have it the next day, and then hopefully it's a bit more of a gateway into the bundles that we offer as well.
Yeah. And on those bundles, what percentage and ballpark, I'm not holding you to it, but ballpark, how many people kind of just take on one service, and how many go for the one-stop shop?
It really does. Yeah, it's difficult for me to say. I don't want to sit on the fence, so I'm going to give you a figure. But
I always do.
But if you look at someone like SJ at Preston Baker, they get a really good conversion rate, and that's because they engage with tenants with what the packages are offering, how much they're costing, and they're talking about it at different points of the journey.
Is that the importance there of it really almost coming across as a concierge service, where you're not just doing it obviously for the financials and everything else, but this is genuinely, look, we're really helping you with the whole move experience here.
That's the only way that we believe we can be a sustainable business for the package. Is, obviously there's lots of moving cogs, as you've said, but the real kind of underlying factor to this is providing a service that is so much better than what people are currently getting with their bills, by having one customer services team, one monthly invoice. So yeah, I mean, we typically see anything from 20 to 40% of conversions from tenants using the bundles. That's kind of typically where we see it. So we do get less and we do get more, but typically it's between that. Yeah.
Excellent. That's really good. And look, you've been really, really kind for our Kerfuffle members. In fact, someone helpfully has actually just put this. I don't know where these messages come from. excuse the fact that it's just covering you up, but you've talked about here exclusive kerfuffle deal, free access to Billing Better utility management platform, enabling agents to complete those utility notifications, offer your properties with bills included, and provide their tenants with a simple way to set up their household bills, plus free for life access to our notifications product, which normally starts at £49 per month per agent. So that's really, really kind of you. Thank you for doing that.
Pleasure. It's a new thing that we've the notifications product that we're offering. It's something that we've been trialing over the last few months and working with key partners to get it right. And we're now in a position where we're there with it. So we will be, as long as our existing clients, if any of them are watching, they will continue to get it for free. But as of a cutoff point, new clients will be paying for that, and for you guys, they won't have to. So hopefully, that will benefit everyone.
Spot on. That's absolutely perfect. And for anyone that does want to, we encourage you, as usual, go to the landing page for Billing Betters on there, see more information about them. You can see the deal there. There's an inquire now button if you want to get in contact. And obviously, we'll be sharing this on the normal social media, and they can get in contact with you, I think, direct, Jack, can't they? And just mention,
Absolutely.
Obviously, to take advantage of that. Well, Jack, that sounds really, really interesting. It sounds like a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest, in terms of doing it. Please stay in contact with us. We'd love to hear more about those integrations, get more case studies, and we'll definitely get you back on a couple of the panels as well and talk to you about sort of those opportunities with agents down the line as well.
Great. Okay. Thanks very much for your time, Simon.
Thanks a lot, Jack. Cheers. Have a good day.
You too. Cheers. Bye.